Okay, so continuing on, before I get to these two windows and the little two bar kind of thing down here, the first thing I want to show you is what happens when you save. Now, if you hit save, obviously, like if you have your files already set up, and you have they're in a location and everything, and if you just hit save to save it, I just want to show you what happens. And so this is where I have this file stored, and I just saved it, and you can see, this is the time that I just saved it. You can see these, like, it has this file, and then it has 0.002, 003, 004. Sometimes there's a 001, depending on when you save. But what this is, so after you save, Revit does like a backup file for previous versions, so you can see from the last time that you saved. So the last time I saved was at 1:41 p.m. So a backup version of it is created for that time because that's the last time I saved. And before that, the last time I saved was 10:51, so it creates a backup for it at 10:51, and then so on. I have it set up so it only does 3 backups because I get annoyed by them. But in the options, if you went to like options, you can actually set up the number of backup files that there are. This is, if you're working on Revit for a while, sometimes you'll ever get a reminder to save, and so if you ever get annoyed by that too, you could always set different times. It's always good though, because sometimes you'll be working a lot and you'll forget, so you could always set that up. You can set up your Autodesk 360 here if you didn't want to do it there. Let's see if I can find. I forget where exactly it is. I don't want to take the time to go through it. It may be this, but I know there is a place within these settings that you can set up the number of backup files that it actually will save until it starts to write over some stuff. So you can see I had 1, 2, 3, and since I only have it set it to 3, it replaces 1 with 4. So when I said 1, 2, 3, 4, it just does 2, 3, 4. So that's something that you can set up there, and just to be aware of how that works. Okay, so the first thing I want to show in this, the next thing I should say that I want to show is the properties kind of bar or window. When you're not clicked on anything, it's going to be the properties for the view that you're in. So right now I'm in floor plan A03, which is this floor plan. So this is the properties for that floor plan. And you can see from here, and most of this stuff that you see, and I'm actually going to get into some of it when I'm explaining how this setup works. But you can see display mode and detail level. Stuff like this are down on this option bars down here. So this is detail level, display mode, hidden line, shaded, wireframe. Edit visibility allows you to turn certain things off. So if I was to hit this and uncheck walls, that means any wall that's drawn would be hidden and not show up in this view. Then you could put an underlay in if you wanted to kind of like if you're designing as you design your project, you may want something to be underlaid. So like if you may draw out the first floor, and then to help you draw out the second floor, you may want the first floor to be an underlay, so it comes in grayed out a little bit, and then you can draw it so easier there. So a lot of this stuff, is on here, to turn the sun on and off. It is actually graphic display options. You can play with, shades and stuff like that. But that's also, again, you can do that through here. And there's different things, and a few of this stuff I'll get into the end. This view range helps you assign the cut plane. So this is a plan view, so from at level 3, this is level 2, I should say, or basically whatever the second floor level is. I'm saying to cut 4 feet above that. So then this is where you can adjust the cut planes, through here. So there's different things that you can do with it. And again, sun path, you can turn it on from here, and I'll get into those buttons in a little bit. Now, if you ever click on something, this becomes the properties windows for whatever you've clicked on. So I just put in a wall quickly to demonstrate this. So when I click on this wall, it's now the properties for this wall, and I can go in and edit the properties of the wall here. I can click this down and I can pick a different type of wall if I wanted to. Also, I told you that there's type properties that I showed you, which also can be done by hitting edit type, and this brings you into more properties for the wall. So I could edit the structure of this wall. I can create my own wall. So you can see here, this list is actually this list right here. So if there's ever a wall that's not already created that you don't want, you can easily create your own. And this goes for any type of thing that you put in. So this goes for windows and doors and stuff like that. So like, say I wanted a generic 18-inch wall, I can just hit duplicate, generic 18-inch, hit OK, and then you can see the width. It's not 18 inches yet, and that's because I have to edit the structure and then say it's 18 inches, and then that will update to 18 inches, and then I can change this other stuff. And like I said, that works for anything that you have. So it's kind of the same idea for windows and doors and pretty much any type of family that you can insert. You can always duplicate something and kind of adjust the sizes to kind of create something that you may be looking for that's not specified in the list that's already created. And now you can see that generic 18-inch is in the list, and it's also in this list as well. So now it's a wall that you can always use later on at any point in the project. And as I mentioned, if I did the same thing for a door, it would be the same idea for a door as well. So that's kind of the properties window. And you'll see as we go later on, different tutorials, you'll see how the property windows comes into play and how you can do different things. Okay. So now to get to the project browser, actually, you know what? Before I do the project browser, I'm going to do this toolbar because it's closely related to this. So you can see here, obviously, as I said, when I'm not clicked on anything, it's the properties for whatever view that you're in. And you can see one of the top properties is scale, but scale is also available here. As I mentioned, this is detail level. What detail level is basically like in section what details are going to be shown. So to show that, let me put in a wall that actually has. So this is a brick wall, and you can see all the different details on it. And let me switch to coarse for a second. So you can see right now I'm in the coarse detail. So when it shows the wall, it just shows a basic, just the exterior lines of the wall itself. But if I switch over to medium, it actually shows the construction of the wall. So that's what I mean. That's what's meant by detail level, and how that works. I showed you display mode, so you can switch between hidden lines, shaded, and stuff like that. For the most part, in plan view, you'd probably always be in hidden line. Shaded and realistic will come into play in 3D views. This is to turn sun on. The sun path would actually looks like it's probably not going to show up here, but it would show up in 3D view if I did it in 3D view. Let me go to 3D view. And sun path. You can see it actually shows the path of the sun. So if you ever want to see the path of the sun, you can. Again, but it's only going to be visible in 3D view. And again, these buttons only work for whatever view that you're in. So if I change the scale in the second floor, I'd have to change it in every single floor. doing it that way. But you can also go to, so if you go to sun settings, this is where you can set the actual settings for the sun. So you can pick a day and time and everything like that. You can turn, this button turns shading on and off. So obviously, once you set up your sun settings, you can actually hide shadows or turn shadows on. And that's just, with shadows off, the project actually goes a lot faster. Well, I should say the program runs a lot faster. Because if you have a very big project with shadows turned on, the file can start to drag. These two are your crop views and your crop regions, and what I mean by those, if you guys aren't familiar with those terms, I'm going to switch these to a sketch style, just so you can differentiate between the two. So if I turn, this turns the crop region on, the actual crop region window, which is way out here. So if I drag that, so it's in here. So this is the crop region, and this is basically everything that's going to be displayed when you go to print. And if I drag, like say if I drag it like, say I drag it like that, obviously I want that cut out. And you always want to turn off the crop region. But this button actually activates the crop region. So if right now it's not activated, so if I activate it, it'll crop out what I want to be cropped. And then, I can always turn this back on and edit it if I needed to, and maybe I want to see that. Then I can turn the crop region off, and then I can turn it on and off. So once you have your crop region set, this button allows you to turn stuff on and off, turn it on and off. So if you ever needed to see the whole drawing again to edit some stuff, you can turn it off easily and then turn it back on. This allows you to hide and isolate stuff temporarily. So I'll just show you what it is for here. But say I want to hide these two lines, I can select them, hit on this, and hit hide element. And now you can see there's like a big kind of like tealish box around my window to say that stuff are temporarily hidden. So stuff, so you can see these, this is hidden. Those two lines are hidden, so I can do some work now, and then I can just hit on this and hit reset. And then it also works the opposite way, where I can actually highlight those two and hit isolate. So it'll isolate just anything that you select, and then again, you can just reset and do it that way. And this is actually to reveal stuff that's hidden. So if I actually say I hid these lines again, I can actually click on that and it'll show what's hidden. The other thing that's good for is if I select this and I right click, I can hide them in view, but now they're permanently hidden. So doing it this way, I temporarily hide them. I hid them temporarily, whereas hiding it, doing right click and hide in view by element, now they're hidden permanently in the view. But if I ever wanted to get them back, I can click on this to reveal what's hidden, select them, do unhide, and now they're back in, now they're back to be seen. So that's that little toolbar. The rest of the stuff I've never really used. Even down, this is design options, which I've showed you that's in the view tab. The rest of the stuff I've never really used. This is filter, which is also under, which happens when you highlight stuff. And I believe this is, to select elements by face. And you can always hover over stuff. I've never used this stuff because I got used to not using them. But you could always look through them. But what I was saying about filter, if you have like a whole bunch of stuff, like I'll put a wall in just for now. If I select everything, I can filter, and I can just say that I want the wall to be selected, and it'll check everything. So that's helpful if there's a lot of stuff going on. You can filter between what you selected. So that's pretty much it for there. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to end this video here, and I am going to, the last video I'm just going to explain the project browser.